Hi, we have a new chapter of Boku no Hero Academia. New for me, probably not for you. It's chapter 222. It came out a little while ago. I'm just getting to it now, but I hope you looked forward to and didn't mind the wait. The cover page is strange. Deku is like Mothra. It's Kaiju Deku. Like the big Japanese monsters of Godzilla type genres. We have the other four of our main cast reacting in various ways, kind of going through the traditional four stages of grief that their friend has been turned into a giant monster: rage, excitement, tears, sleep. You can tell I'm an expert in the genre. Anyways, I have no idea what this means or why this is here. We're just gonna move on. Um, so this, we're going back to the meeting between Shigaraki Tomura and the mysterious doctor. Um, and the chapter title, Tomura Shigaraki Distortion, mirrors with a lot of other chapter titles where it'll be like the hero's full name, colon, usually like the origin or something like that along these lines. And it's usually kind of a definitive moment for that character where they come to some revelation. We learn about their backstory to some extent, things like this. So I think we're going to get the same thing for Tomura-chan here, especially with these opening lines. I don't remember much about my life before meeting my master in you. And this really ominous first panel of the hand reaching out and grabbing him, which we know, like the hand on the face and the hands gripping his neck and all of the other hand iconography that he really associates himself with. This is some pretty significant stuff. Um, You know, when I equip everyone all over me, my rage just boils over. I can't help it. So that's kind of an interesting thing too. I don't want to read too much into it right now, because of course we're just on the first page and I don't really know the whole story. But I find it interesting, the idea of like a villainous character who deliberately needs to like manipulate his own rage, who needs to constantly be working himself up into like a fervor in order to have motivation for the heinous deeds and stuff. Like normally we kind of see villains as like an absolute unto themselves, you know. They're just crazy, or they're just evil, or they just can't stop, or whatever. But the villain that needs to equip something to himself, that needs to look at something in order to inspire his rage, that's a lot more interesting to me. That seems to be a little more deep. Okay, so is that really what's going on then? Ever since that day, I've done a lot of thinking. No one came to save you. That must have hurt. Right, Tenko Shimura. Is that his original name? How scared you must have been. Suffering you've endured. You ran and ran, hoping to find help. How awful for you. And is this All for One that's reaching out to him? I mean, we've never really seen All for One outside of his very advanced, very kind of mutant state. So I'm not too sure. But the fact that they're deliberately showing this guy all shadowy and stuff, I think, is a heavy implication there. But yeah, it looks like Tomura-chan's life not so hot. Living in a little homeless encampment here. You can see it's all just built up of kind of rags and scraps and stuff with a stone on top weighing it down. And just one frying pan. Something about that one frying pan is like really bleak to me. I don't know. For some reason, it's so much more bleak to see that one frying pan and then have to extrapolate from that just kind of the desperation and misery and like trying to think of how he eats and how he possibly heats that and stuff like that. More so than if there was just nothing, you know, even though it seems like, oh great, he's got a frying pan. At least he's got a frying pan. It's like, no, it actually like hurts all the more. Everyone just passed by pretending not to see, thinking that some hero would save the day. Who decided to make the world this way? It'll be okay now. I am here. Ooh, now that's quite interesting. He sort of mirrors All Might when he says that. I am here. You know, that's very similar to All Might's bold declaration, I have arrived. And this too as well, that they're it's like it's not the fault of a villain that he was, or not a villain in the conventional sense that he was homeless and poor and stuff. And there is really no way in which a hero could save him, right? Unless there's like Money Man, you know, or like Socialist Man, or like Affordable Housing Man, you know, Social Worker Man. These aren't heroes in the conventional sense either. So from the very start, All for One's talking about everyone just thought a hero would save you. It seems like really not. It seems quite manipulative, and it's not clear to me whether All for One is also just so twisted in his view of the world that he like can't recognize that this isn't something that can be blamed on the hero system, can't be blamed on how the world is. Um, but or if it's like deliberate manipulation to get this kid on his side with regard to heroes and quirks and stuff. I can really remember is my master holding me. Before then, I'd been an empty shell, completely hollow. And then here we see Spinner. Thank you to the people in the comments who reminded me of his name. That was driving me crazy. For a second, just now, I almost forgot again, but it came to me. Okay, so like this is kind of cool because up until this point, I think he had just thought of Shigaraki as just some punk, right? That happened to be at the start the head of the League of Villains, but he's rapidly becoming disillusioned with the League of Villains, and seeing this vulnerability from him, seeing this origin story. I don't know. It might be what gets him kind of riled up about it again. So today, this will be your room, and I'll be your master. What will you teach me? This is what remains of your family. A rare variant quirk manifested within you, one we've never seen before. You murdered your entire family with your own hands. And you can see they've got gloves on them now. They do not want to make that mistake again. So this is everyone. This is what remains of his family. And I guess it was just his quirk manifested, and before he really understood what was happening, before they were able to piece together the connection, he was disintegrating his family. That's pretty bleak. That's a pretty heavy idea, and it kind of shows like a real dark side to quirks. And I guess normally they would be a little more prepared for incidents because quirks are largely inherited, you know? Normally you have some quirk that's like a variant or a mutation of some of your parental quirks or some combination of your parental quirks. So this idea of a rare variant quirk manifested within you, one we've never seen before, that's like pretty far outside the pale. That it's not like any of the family members had any sort of dangerous power associated with their hands. Probably just a nice normal family. And here, poor Tomura-chan freaking out as the scenes flash back. Do you remember? The way they show these characters, this dog, this sister probably, this father, it's like probably this isn't the last we'll see of this story. Like probably this is just setting up now eventually a much more substantial flashback that's going to be even more brutal. Probably, that's my guess at least. If they really are just making all these designs just for these moments, that's very impressive. Came rushing back to me in fragments like movie snippets. An inexplicable frustration so intense it made me feel nauseous. And the doctor asking, should I modify him? So already, I guess they had some program going on with Nomus and stuff. So I guess probably All for One sought him out because he had been reading the news or something, and he had seen, oh, geez, some kid murdered his old family, incidentally, accidentally, with some brand new quirk. I need that quirk. I need my Nomus to start having disintegrating touch. So he sought out the boy specifically for that, I'm thinking. But then seeing the psychological thing, yeah, even without your memories, I expect those feelings to remain in your heart. As your master, I will teach you how to take those feelings, that frustration. Like he's like, this is this is better as a person. This could be a more powerful weapon as a human being than just as a power bound up within one of the gigantic mutant nomus. Interesting, interesting. Give it purpose. I have the whole family on me and I feel so sick that I want to vomit. I also kind of feel at peace. It's weird. All I've got are these fragmented images. It's like there's a lump of lead deep down in my heart, providing an endless source of rage that bursts out. It's like I'll never feel good again. Heavy. Some heavy stuff. And I think here he provides actually a very insightful, introspective look at the duality of depression, where it's both terrible, it's both kind of a sickening, painful thing, where all of your sensory inputs are kind of poisoned. You know, nothing is good. Nothing in the world is good to you anymore. And there's this heaviness too, this lump of lead, and you just feel so certain that you'll never be happy again. And yet, it in a situation that should be so repulsive, so uninviting, so unhappy, there is also a peace. It's kind of the peace you feel when you really think, all right, now I'm at rock bottom. Like there is nothing more that can happen to me when I already feel this bad. And it's like, yeah, I don't know, man. This is an interesting character. He's capable of such violence, capable of such attacks, such hatred of peace and order, and trying to disrupt the planet in the way he does. Yet, nah, you never once think he's happy about it. You never once think there's like a joy. Even if this hero society comes crashing down, even if I rise to rule the underworld, that weight in my heart is never going to go away. That's why I hate everything. Every living, breathing thing just rubs me the wrong way. So why not destroy it all? Why not destroy everything? And this is a fantastic double spread here. Just this huge myriad of images. And you see it too, the beautiful horizon just waiting for us. Let me hand, won't you, Doctor? Heaven and hell both, I'll show you all of it. So we see kids laughing together, beautiful meadows springing with flowers, the waves of the beach. Old man here, Jet, something. Jet, Mock, can't think of his name. Dang. Crowd of people, the sunrise, Mount Lady and Kamui of the Woods. Someone looking maybe shy before their first date, holding a bundle of flowers. A mother and a child skipping together down a promenade. You have Stain here. It looks like in prison, bound up, and all for one, of course, deeply locked away. The metropolis, the skyline. Bakugao playing drums. Deku looking forward with hope and excitement. The waves crashing down the river. Class 1A. Cheering and celebrating, and the teachers, Eraserhead, giving All Might some grief for who knows what. And then in the top left, it looks like Tomura himself, Akachan Tomura, the most infant Tomura will likely ever see, gently caressed by his father's hand, that same hand that now caresses the front of his face. It's rough. This is some rough stuff, and I admire the mangaka for going as broad as they possibly could like this. That it's not sugar-coated at all. It's not that we're seeing just awful things that have happened to him. It's not just that we're seeing kind of corruption and such. We're really having to confront this ideology on its strongest terms. Like all of this, even the flowers, even the waves, that's too much for him. And the fact that it recalls some moments that we're aware of, right? Like Bakugo on the drums, like brings back the entirety of that explosive celebratory joy of the school festival arc, which I loved so much. Um, or seeing Stain locked away in prison recalls his entire ideology, which you couldn't call nihilistic, you know, like it was cynical, and he certainly was very pessimistic about a lot of aspects of society, but it still had at its core a passion of creation, of wanting things to be a certain different way. Whereas this, you know, now we're seeing it that he just wants all to be dust. Everything is just going to crumble and fall away because he is just so locked into this depression. He is just so deep down that he cannot possibly see the reason for any of this to exist. All right, are you guys enjoying your fun superhero show for kids? Don't you remember when Fire and Ice Man fought up against Punch So Hard He Hurts Himself Man? Actually, that was a pretty brutal fight too. All I'm saying is, whew. All right, okay. And Spinner seems a little mortified by this. What a childish daydream. Saying all that with such a straight face is quite impressive. I'll help you out, so show me you mean it. Prove to me you can make your villainous pipe dreams a reality. And even the rest of the League of Villains, there's like, what? Like, is that what we've been doing? Was that the plan to destroy everything? Was that the? It's like I just wanted money. When were we gonna get money? and Toga-chan here is like, hey, I'm definitely not into this. You know, I'm just in it for the weird sex stuff. My Alex are exceptions. You guys should get what you want in life. And she cheers. Everybody else is kind of like, and I'm kind of like, because I don't know. I don't know if he's really willing to just make those exceptions like that. I kind of feel like he's all in on this it all returns to nothing plan. He's trying to get stuff tumbling down, if you know what I mean. Making Evangelion references, it doesn't matter. Pass with flying colors. Testing. I want to see how much you've grown. The plan was always to help you out, and these little ones are the first thing. Some research I put together to give you all to give you power. Okay. Can't give you that second thing yet because without a doubt you're all weak. You have to prove yourselves first. Symbol hasn't excited me. So that's the big guy they were fighting last chapter. Whose name, my apologies, it's like Gigantoman or something like that. It's not quite there in my head. Gigantomachia. Get Gigantomachia to submit to you, and everything I have will be yours to use as you see fit. It's sure been one long tutorial. Okay, so I guess that's it, and they're gonna warp them back to that battle that they just kind of got warped out of, and lose again. Like they were getting wrecked, right? But it'll be kind of funny to me, because like how many times have we seen this shown on the protagonist side? They're fighting, they're getting wrecked, all seems hopeless. They confer with some wise elder character or something like that. They take a second to re-examine their priorities. They start going friends, family, you know, whatever. And there's the same kind of collage shot behind them, but it's all their friends cheering and stuff. And they're like, yeah, I can do it. And then they go back and they fight and they win. And now it's going to be the same thing maybe, but it's like they get warped away. And Tomura's like, I hate everything. I hate family. I hate friends. And then they get warped back and win. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Okay, I hope so. If it's like the power of not friendship, if he invokes the power of a hatred. Okay. Anyways, Okay, so Daddy does not want to get involved with this anymore. You're pouting because your fire didn't work well. Kind of found a good potential ally, so I'm putting my time towards that. I'm not about to go in a blaze of glory besides our leader here. I'm looking out for myself. The perfect match for you. Let's say aesthetics. You two would get along great. So is it all patched up like him? Is it all super stitched and leathery and burnt up or whatever? Send us back. I'm feeling I'm taking the world now. See? This is the power of shonen right here. So they all get little transmitter guys. Okay. So, okay, first off, what's Dabi up to? Well, is it something to do with the political movement guys, you know, that we were seeing before? Because I kind of feel like the story is seeded for Todoroki to go up against those guys, or to be like a major player in the arc where they go up against those guys, just because he was involved when they were taking down those criminals, and then he says like, "Whoa, like the equipment and stuff." So, and that would go into this idea that Dabi is one of Todoroki's older brothers. It's just a theory that I've seen floated around, and I think there's quite a lot of pretty compelling evidence for that. So I'm thinking that's related, but you know, they're very anti-League of Villains, so they're probably trying to like trick him or something, but he thinks, you know, oh, these guys can supply us with lots of weapons and stuff. Maybe naively going along with it. Maybe he's planning on betraying them. I don't know. So that's, I think, what's going on there. I don't know. And then this gross guy that just spews stuff, which is he's wearing like high top sneakers and his brain's all out there, so you know he's one of those guys, a hype beast, rocking the latest streetwear. All right, so Tomura's back. It's the return of the future king. He's just sounding like a shonen protagonist so much, and the fact that he got his chapter title like this too, it's so great. What a good inversion. King must inspire dread, must be admired, must be strong. And now we cut to the present-ish. We see the end of Spinner's narration. He'd been narrating kind of throughout this whole little League of Villains mini arc. There's a very strange panel. I don't know what that is. It looks gross. It looks like some sort of David Lynch thing. Sure. And then we see the head honcho of this league, the Quirk Liberation League or whatever they're called, saying the League of Villains is doomed, I think. Unless that's still Spinner's narration. Is that his narration or is... I don't know. Anyways, it's pretty interesting, this whole little transitional arc. I think they're kind of taking a page from the book of One Piece. Probably other shonen series do this too, but One Piece is the one that I really associate this technique with, where between arcs you really widen out the scope, and you even spend, as we're seeing here, a few chapters looking at individual stories that are just happening in parallel with the major events involving our main characters. And it's all just to set up future arcs. It's all just to kind of put cards into your hand such that in later arcs, you already have established characters, you already have established power dynamics and stuff, and so that it's hype, and you can be like, guess what? This guy showed up and slammed the card down, you know? It's brilliant. It's brilliant. I think this is the key to having longevity in a shonen series. Because then it's not just like arc after arc after arc, you know, where it's like, okay, now we're all going to fight this guy, okay, now we're all going to fight this guy. And Boku no Hero Academia, because of like the school structure and then having like the class exam arcs and stuff, does a really good job subverting that anyways, like kind of breaking out of any sort of formula. But this is what really takes it to the next level in order to make each arc have significance, just having these cards accumulated in your hand. Plus it gives you a lot of cool opportunities to just see other sides of other characters. You know, we got to see this really nice flashback from Tomura, this extremely well presented philosophy. I'm just blown away by this spread here. That and the circumstances where he's like going up against Deku or something, he's not going to start monologuing about all of this. That's definitely outside of his character. But in this case, with the Doctor, with someone that he's so close to, it makes sense. It's like well developed in terms of story, and then we also get all of his allies and stuff hearing him out, and we're seeing the ramifications of that. And yeah, it's just good. It's just really solid storytelling. I'm very impressed. I'm glad they're doing these sort of inter-arc mini arcs, and I'm in no rush to see it end. I also have no idea what's coming next after this. They've set up so many little threads. You know, the I call them Incineroar, Endeavor and Hawks fighting the Nomu, kind of teaming up. The triple agency of Hawks. The whole thing with the Quark Liberation League and supplying things to heroes and criminals and stuff. This whole thing trying to get Gigantomasia, whatever Dabi is up to, Bakugao and Todoroki getting their provisional licenses. Any one of these could either be holding cards up for later arcs, or it could be just the next thing we actually focus on. And that's not all of them. That's just the ones I thought of over the top of my head. But there's a lot of balls in the air. So yeah, it's an exciting time. Okay, we're reading the next chapter right away. So please stay tuned for that.